Commission meeting for March 5th, 2025. I'm Dean Anson.
Deb Williams.
Lisa Moran.
Gray Draper.
Okay, so we have a quorum, and we start off by saluting the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so we're going to change the agenda a little bit, and we'll start out with 474 Layton Avenue North.
Good evening. My name's Doug LaRosa. I represent Civil Works New England. I'm here on behalf of Gerald and Karen Kadish. We're seeking a conditional use permit to allow development in the shoreland zone. The project consists of an existing 1.25 acre lot with an existing home on it. The Kadishas wish to develop that by removing the existing home and putting in a more modern home.
We have some of the plans here
Yeah,
on our iPads, just so you know.
right.
They're small, but we have them.
So I'm showing you the landscape plan, which is the second last sheet from the end.
Give me the number, please.
What's the number of it?
On the bottom, yeah, please.
So it's sheet 7,
Thank you.
L-O.I.
Thank you.
This plan shows in color the basis of the development. The existing drive is in, the proposed drive will be in the same place as the existing. It comes off of Layton Ave in the exact same location. As you go down the drive towards Lake Winnisquam, on your left is a proposed 2-bedroom garage / accessory dwelling unit. Continue down the drive, we have a pervious paved area that accesses the garage for the main house. The main house is a proposed 4-bedroom house with landscaping around it. The majority of the 28,000 square feet of shoreland impact, and let me just state, this entire lot is totally within 250 feet of Lake Winnisquam, so it's all in the Shoreland Protection District. So they propose a home with a garage and 4 bedrooms with a little bit of landscaped area around it and a patio, pavers out front. As we go down towards the water, in the 50-foot buffer, we do have 2 sets of stairs down to the water, as well as some low-level landscape wall. The landscape wall runs parallel to the shoreline, more or less. This lot has 550 feet of shoreline. The majority of the lot will remain in its existing state. We do show areas to be maintained as required by the shoreland rules. We show 25% of the area between 50 feet and 150 feet to be left in its undisturbed state. That's shown on sheet 4 of your plan set. So on sheet 4, the existing house is about 1,800 square feet. The proposed house footprint will be 5,344 square feet. The existing driveway impervious area is gonna be about 2,700 square feet. Because we're using pervious pavement, we're reducing that to 1,635 square feet. We do have some proposed walkways in the shoreland, 312 feet. We have 170 feet of stairs, and we have a proposed pickleball court that's street side of the proposed garage, 2-bedroom ADU. The total proposed disturbance in the 250-foot protected shoreland is 28,254 square feet. The total impervious area is 10,061 square feet. The majority of that being the house, the roof line, and the walkways. It's a pretty straightforward project. We are asking, for this retaining wall from 0 to 50 feet that will enable the stairs and some small amount of lawn area that will be between the home and Lake Winnisquam. We feel like we meet all the rules required by the city of Laconia and the state of New Hampshire. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Mr. Chair, can I?
Okay, just before
Sure.
you start,
Sure.
I know Decadishes, so I'm going to recuse myself.
Will we still have a quorum?
Yes.
Okay.
We will.
So we're looking for a
Really?
positive recommendation to the planning board that this be approved. Is that correct?
That's what you're looking for, right?
That is.
Go ahead, Lisa.
Just because the numbers, so the existing conditions, how much, you're saying existing conditions and build-out conditions both are completely within the shoreline protection area. So,
That's correct.
so what is the current footprint of the existing condition and then the footprint of the proposed?
As it says on sheet 4,
Right. I'm
under
sorry.
shoreline calculations, under pre, currently there's 4,495 square feet of impervious area, which includes the primary house and the driveway. In the post, that number goes up because the house is bigger. It goes to 10,061 square feet. So that's an increase of
6,000.
5,505 square feet, more or less.
Okay, yeah.
Doing that in my head.
Thank you. No, that's
Doubling it, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now, it's a very modest 2-bedroom home that's in need of repair.
And the landscaping, it looks like there's, it's very much lawn now with no terracing down by the shore. And the new layout would have, in addition to some lawn, it has terracing with this retaining wall that you're talking about, existing, because there's an existing vegetation and then there's this wall.
Right, so
Okay.
as shown on sheet 4, we show grading that goes, so the existing house is about elevation 494. The proposed house we brought up a little bit to elevation 496. And then our grading drops down in the first 20 feet in front of the house, 4 feet, from 494 at the walkouts to 490. We do show erosion and sediment control around the entire perimeter of the area to be disturbed. That would be a silt sock, which is a
Questions, can't you?
tube filled with material so that we don't disturb any of the underlying vegetation.
Page 6 is what you're referring to when you talk about that.
So, page 8 actually has the
Page-
no,
page
page 6,
six.
you're correct.
Okay. And I apologize, what is this?
That has the detail of the silt sock.
We have some rare species to be concerned about here?
So,
4 rare turtles?
so when we submit to NHDES, we always put that on there. The NHB database shows no endangered species in the area. So when we submit to Shoreland, the first thing we do is go to New Hampshire Heritage Bureau to see if they have any results for endangered species in the area. And it came back with no
No?
results.
Okay, thank you.
You have no pictures of the property as it is before?
So I usually submit the entire shoreline permit package. In this case, I did not, but
right now, I'm just wondering what the lakefront looks like now,
so the
as far as
lakefront,
landscape.
right, it's a rocky shoreline with low-growing vegetation, mostly a mixture of blueberries and small shrubs. And in front of the existing home, there's 2 trees. The remainder of the lot from the existing home back towards Layton Ave has a dense conifer forest where there's, in each 25 by 50 area, there's upwards of 10 trees over 12 inches in diameter. Below it, there's, and again, I counted these, there's 14 trees in 200 feet of water frontage in front of the house that fall in that 0 to 50-foot area. Adjacent to the house is hardpack or lawn or gravel. Back in 1950 or 60, this site was graded off level, and there's 5 feet of gravel on top of ledge. So this was a site where, to put in the first home, they put in fill.
Filled, yeah. So are you taking down the trees between the house and the lake?
No. The existing trees are to remain, and our notes do say that if any of the 25 by 50 grids that are required by NHDES shoreline to have 25 points will be replanted with a mixture of shrubs and 3-inch diameter trees to get the proper count.
But you are taking trees down? And you're taking them down between the house and the road? I've seen that.
So there are some trees that are gonna be taken down along the back of the house, which is the opposite side of the lake. There's one in particular, 36-inch
Right.
maple.
I saw that, yep.
But around the existing house and area is mostly grass within 35 feet of the existing home, front and back. The plan is to keep the existing vegetation intact as much as possible.
The blueberry bushes and the
Yep,
low scrub.
and low scrub. We can only use, even though they're prolific, in our calculations, we can only use 10 out of 25 points to be brush
Right.
and grass. So, yes, we don't meet the count today. Under shoreland rules, it says if you keep under 20% impervious, then they don't require those counts, but we're still cognizant that we need to have 25 points in each of those.
So have you heard back from DES? Are you all set with your shoreline permits yet?
The shoreline permit can take a little while.
Right.
No, we have not heard back yet.
Okay.
And we also have on sheet 7, the landscape plan, they show these red boxes.
Mhm.
That is a wastewater treatment plant system called Clean Solutions, where they keep recirculating the wastewater until it's supposedly at drinking water standards. I wouldn't drink it, but it is less than 10 parts per million for nitrogen, and it meets the phosphate.
So it's not a holding tank.
No,
It's going to
This-
be dispersed at some point.
it will be dispersed. So it goes,
Is there no- there's no-
it goes, if you look on sheet
do you have any,
4,
soil down there?
No.
on sheet 4, it goes into, each house goes into their own septic tank, then it goes into a AOS treatment system, then it goes into a pump chamber, then it's pumped to a 30 by 5 stone and pipe system.
And that's
Well-
where these red boxes are?
So those are the red boxes are on sheet 7. On sheet 4 of 8, or sheet 4, the shoreline permit grading plan, that shows the little boxes. It shows a sewer pipe coming out of each house into a box with 2 little circles, that's a septic tank. Then it goes into a box with 3 circles, that's the AOS tank. Then it goes into a box with 1 circle, that's the pump chamber. Then it's pumped under the driveway to a stone and pipe system. And once we get the shoreline permit, they'll give us the permit for the septic design. So we have gone above and beyond to try to,
Right. So it goes, so basically the red box is where it,
the red box closer to Winnisquam is the stone and pipe system. The 2 red boxes, the big red box is the AOS system. The little red box above it is a pump chamber. Because DES changed the way they review septics, they wanted separate septic tanks for each of these rather than just one big tank, which we provided.
and this slopes down to the water, this lot?
Does it, so the septic system is 75 feet. And again, when I dug the test pit there was 5 feet of nice gravel fill there.
Yeah, I just haven't seen a system like this before, because I haven't seen that many.
I just did 2 of these in Rye, New Hampshire,
I just wonder why.
right on the ocean.
Why the pipe goes down towards the lake instead of somewhere else.
There's actually limited area to put it on this lot, because even though this is a wetlands less than 3,000 square feet, it still has a 50-foot setback.
Mhm.
So that 50-foot setback goes right up to the edge of the driveway.
So the ADU unit is in the setback too.
The ADU is in a 50-foot septic setback.
And-
There is no setback for small isolated wetlands less than 3,000 square feet. Per the letter I got from the planning department.
And it has to go under the driveway because to go the other way is into the garage, is that right? Or maybe, oh, wait a minute, maybe I'm getting my two plans mixed up. I'm looking at the elevations.
Right. So the top of the field is 494, right at existing grade.
Right. And, no, so that garage is gone then, so it's the existing garage that,
The field is right at the corner of the existing garage. You're right.
yeah, well, I was looking at the elevations and it looked like you had a slope, so where those units are, I'm rolling screens. It looks like your elevations, you've got on the uphill side, it's 492, on the lake side, 492, 494, 494, so you actually have a little trough, whereas if you have the pipe going instead of under the driveway, the other direction, it's kind of being funneled to the existing woodland that's gonna stay. That's all I'm saying, based on what she's trying to say, whereas if you have it going the other way, it goes from 492 down to, well, I guess there is 494, but you were saying it was gravel anyway.
Right, but it is,
489.
so because I'm going uphill, I have to pump it. I'm just going uphill 2 feet,
Mm-hmm.
but I had to put a pump in to make it work.
I'm not gonna argue with you, because I don't know, but I'm just looking at numbers and getting, this is a very
Unfortunately, I
busy map.
spend way too much time on this design.
I'm sure, and this is a very busy map for me to be looking at, so, and it's not your fault, it's
No.
just what it is, so, thanks.
Dean, did you have some questions? You can ask questions.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. When did you have your wetland survey done?
Excuse me.
And we did
Wetlands shown were delineated by Damon E. Burt.
Fraggle Rock. I love
Yep,
it.
November 23, and then again, let's see, the existing conditions plan. Sheet 2. November of 23 and July of 24. So we had him go out there twice.
Did they, okay, so the problem is that we prefer to have wetland surveys done in the spring. So my next question is, do you know if these are vernal pools?
They are not vernal pools.
Well, if you did the survey in November and July,
Would I know if they were vernal pools or not? The only thing I can say is that being out there, it's a rocky it's basically just stones. Usually they like a more mineral, the amphibians like a more mineral base, but no, I did not check. And no, we did not check to see if that was a vernal pool. That's the bottom line.
okay, let me go by the species that are there too, so. When you do your work when you do your work on site, are you gonna use silt curtains in the water?
We are we're surrounding all disturbed
Silk socks.
area with, it's a bundle full of mulch. And
Good.
it stays in place,
Good.
but it doesn't disturb the underlying vegetation.
Good, that's what we like to see, but.
Right, but in the water, are you gonna use any kind of curtain?
It's just stone or ledge. So we're putting stones next to stones with the stairs. So
But you'll be disturbing earth to do that, right? Or I'm trying to picture it.
So out there, it's just rocks. So when you're,
But the water is there.
we do show the
The
silt,
dirt will get in the
we
water.
do show the silt sock going around it, which is very effective in stopping anything from going underneath it. So because the rocky bottom, you place that silt sock, it becomes saturated. It's like going nowhere and letting nothing through it.
On land, but in the
No,
water.
even in the water.
But what about above it?
The water's, so the water elevation is, we're gonna be above the water elevation with our silt sock. So say the water is that deep there,
So it's not like a drop off, it's,
no,
It's like
there's, you'd have to go out quite a ways to get your knees wet. And we do have contours showing that. So in 20 feet, it drops 2 feet.
Oh.
And I'm taking that right off of that existing conditions plan.
wow. Okay. How,
Actually,
how is it by the dock? Or,
yeah,
they've had a dock before, correct?
I do not know.
Oh.
We don't have any records of a dock. There's no,
Oh, okay.
there's no dock out there. It might be something they're looking for in the future, but not,
But it says dock with a canopy.
that's on the abutting property.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So silt socks then on the land also,
Surrounding the entire house,
the entire project,
all the way around,
street side too.
yes.
That's what I like to hear.
Yep, we're protecting the wetland, Lake Winnisquam, the abutters.
Types of, you said mulch, you're using mulch in the silt socks? Are they biodegradable
They,
covers or?
some are, it depends upon the spec. This one, you need to pull up the silt sock.
Yeah,
It's not like mulch berm where you just leave it in place
right.
and it's gone after 5 or 10 years. No, this has to be removed. It's not a biodegradable log, and for something like this, I wouldn't recommend that. For like a typical subdivision, it's fine. 5 years, it's gone, but this one, you want it to be solid for as long as it's being constructed, and then you pick it up.
Then you're gonna have the landscape wall there.
Yep.
I'm reading the fertilization, and it sounds a little bit boilerplate, not customized for this site. Am I sort of right about that?
That is the one that we used on the Bolton project.
And then the hydro seeding, I just have a question. It says lime and fertilizer may be applied simultaneously with seed, straw mulch. I mean, it doesn't seem to indicate low phosphorus, and
So we do say that in one.
you do say it in the permanent seeding, but you don't say it in under, so under D1, permanent seeding, you mention it, but D4, it just, D5, it just says lime and fertilizer may be applied simultaneously with seed, straw mulch. So that's 5.
So that's sheet 5. What,
It's, well, I'm not certain, I had to enlarge stuff to be able to see it, so I have to move stuff around.
right,
It is sheet 5. And,
permanent seating?
well, the permanent seating talks about low, I have to get back there. It talks about, low, so D1, I was betting, the fertilizer.
Yeah.
I'm not in the same place I was, but anyway, it talked about it.
Yeah, it
And-
does talk about it. It
And it,
says
right, and it, so it does mention,
fertilizer should be restricted to a low phosphate, slow release
right,
nitrogen.
but then when you go further down and it talks about hydroseeding, it doesn't specifically say that, it just says lime and fertilizer may be applied simultaneously with the seed. I'm just wondering if that slurry, if there's like specialized slurry for shoreline, or if it's just like one particular, like it's one slurry and everybody uses it and blah, blah. So that's why I was trying to.
No, you can, so when you're hydroseeding,
Yep.
you tell them what you want.
Okay, so you can make a recipe for shorefront kind of thing.
Yes, and
Okay.
everyone working on the shorefront should know that.
Okay. It just wasn't spelled out, so I thought I'd ask.
I did say should.
You did say you should.
Well, so,
If there's anything you'd like us to revise to make it more explicit, we can, but
well, I'm just, I'll put it,
you go to the top part
mhm.
and it's clear.
Yes, it is.
But then you go to hydroseeding, and that clearly just came out of the NHDES erosion and sediment control notes.
Right. So that's, anyway, that's why I say, you're absolutely right. It is perfectly clear in the first part under permanent, and I noticed in the hydroseeding. So I will defer to
On the-
Deb if.
We
On
can
the
change that.
temporary seeding, though, it also says limestone and fertilizer, according to soil test recommendations. So, but it then says
what it-
low phosphate, so,
It's what you want, in terms of,
You guys, I want your approval, so if you want me to change something, I will.
So we don't give approvals? We
No,
give-
I know,
but
we
we give
want your
suggestions.
recommendation.
Yeah, right, right. So you're gonna have a perch beach.
Yes.
So when I look at this color drawing, what is the brown that's around the edge, around the
That's
edge
the
of-
existing vegetation. It says existing vegetation along the shoreline to remain.
So that's what the brown is?
That's what the brown is, yes.
Okay, now we understand.
So the majority of the shoreline is gonna remain in its naturally vegetated state with the low bushes that you can't walk through.
Okay,
You can,
keep the geese off.
you want to.
kept me off.
since you offered, I am gonna go back to this hydroseeding. Maybe we could in 5.A, just say, lime and fertilizer,
Shall be low phosphate.
right, however, to adhere to shoreline recommendations, or something like that.
We'll send you a list also,
Okay,
just of our, I don't know what you have planned for snow storage or,
so I always like to store the snow on top of the hot septic tank so that it melts by itself.
right,
So there's areas of red,
mm-hmm,
those are graded perfectly for snow storage and then will melt and go down into the depressed area of the small isolated wetland.
okay.
So you haven't been to the planning board yet?
Planning board is, no.
So, Gray, do they go to TRC?
Yeah, so they go through TRC and then they go to the next planning board meeting.
So when's the next TRC or next planning board?
Off the top of my head, I'd have to check the calendar. The next TRC, we haven't done the one for March yet. So
Okay.
he should probably be at the March TRC and then that would put him at the April planning board.
Okay. But you'll send him a letter notifying him so he knows, okay. All right, good.
Okay, are you keeping track of sort of what we're saying? I don't know if do we have formal recommendations at this point, or? I mean, I wrote down the two, the hydroseeding and the snow storage, but.
Right, and he's gonna use the silt socks on the full property. We could also provide you with a native plant list. I see that you had some vegetation boxes, plant boxes, is that right on here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Some raised planter beds, is that for vegetables or,
That is for vegetables and
okay. You're not sure?
no, I know they're raised planter beds.
Okay,
I just,
we probably, I mean,
I
we'd like to.
probably wanted to put them on the plan.
We like to include a native plant list anyway, so if they're,
Yep,
if they wanna add any vegetation, we're always happy to see that happen.
sounds great.
Do you have any invasive species?
So our notes do say to take care of any invasive species.
Okay.
I'm not that well versed that I was out there when it
Okay.
was cold. And there was snow and wind.
That was the invasive species.
That's the best time to find bittersweet, though.
Yeah, I didn't see any bittersweet. I know bittersweet.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
didn't walk the front portion of the property because it was inhospitable, let's say.
Okay. I don't know if I have anything else.
Do you have an idea when you're going to get the state's approval?
I'm hoping the shoreland will be less than 45 days, and the septic will be right after that. Those are the two,
45 days from now?
45 days from, yes.
Okay.
I mean, the only other thing we could visit in the spring and make sure that you're,
No vernal pools?
no vernal pools. And if it is,
April?
maybe we could just add more silt socks around it or something, you know.
Okay, so if you
Is it-
look at sheet 4, you will see that the entire wet area is surrounded by silt sock.
Okay,
So, I mean, I've seen people put 2 rows in, but that would be kind of overkill here.
never overkill with our committee. Yeah, yeah, I mean, it would be good information for us to have anyway, because we're trying to find all the vernal pools in town,
Right.
just so that we can map them. We have a clue. Yeah. And on the street, you know, because that goes up to the street side, right?
The wetlands are
Yeah. Right,
less than 5 feet off the property line and
right.
20 feet off the edge of pavement.
This isn't like an HOA kind of situation, it's a straight outright ownership right there.
Correct. There's
Yeah.
no homeowners association.
Okay.
And you said the pickleball court is going on the right side of the garage?
The street side of the garage, yeah.
Right. Because you don't really have that on here. Not on this, well, I'm on 4, I don't know. Do you have it on another one?
I don't,
So on sheet 7,
Okay, yep.
Got it.
Sorry.
nope, that's all right.
So do you have to notify the neighbors so they know that you're gonna put in a pickleball court?
They can use those silent rackets.
Yes, the neighbors will be notified,
Okay, okay.
because those things
they do
are
make
so
so-
loud.
They do make silent rackets, they do.
Do they?
They're softer, yeah.
Ah,
It's
good to
I
know.
wanna say John McEnroe has a line.
Oh, wow.
I'm a tennis player, I've never played pickleball.
Yeah, there's a real, I understand that, I understand that. I know plenty of people that play pickleball and I won't get drawn into it.
Yeah.
Because it's not, they don't have fun.
Well,
They're like cutthroat,
Yeah.
you know.
the person I know who plays
Same in
pickleball.
tennis, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, any other comments?
No, so I just have 4 points that we were gonna make a recommendation on.
Okay. You wanna,
Oh, was so just that, in the plans, we, make comment on the hydro seeding, that it be a shoreline-friendly, mix, and that the snow storage is going to be over the septic tank preferably for, increased opportunity to melt. The silt socks will go around the full property, which is probably already shown, I think you said, and that, we were gonna be sending a native plant list, is what I had.
That's what I have.
okay, that's it? Okay, so, did you get those, Greg? Okay, good, good. Okay. Thank you.
So you're not gonna make a formal vote, say, upon these 4 items, we will recommend
We don't-
approval?
We don't have any teeth. We don't make, I mean, if
We-
we did not support your project, we would tell you that.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is you support the project. And I appreciate that, thank you.
Wait a minute.
We have no objections to the
We have no objections, but,
recommendations.
yeah, we
All
have
right.
recommendations.
Perfect, thank you.
And we'll write, Gray will write you a letter, or the planning department will write you a letter
Planning.
saying these are the recommendations, and then they'll be brought up in the TRC too, right? Okay.
Well, thank you for putting me up on the agenda, and
No,
thank you for your service.
oh,
And
thank you
I
for your
would say-
time.
And don't read into, this is just me talking, but don't read into the fact that we're not saying approval. We're just trying to stay true to our charge here with the city, is what I believe.
Right.
Right.
We're not trying to deny
Right.
you something.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we can go back to, so,
Why did I lose this? Guess it doesn't matter now.
okay, let's see, what are we doing? Okay, so, are the minutes from the previous meeting here?
Not
Okay.
attached.
I suppose they did not upload. Okay, I'll have to reattach them for next meeting as well.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, well, yeah, well, thank you.
thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
So that can be stayed till our next meeting.
Okay, so, when the planning department accepts, wetland surveys and delineations in the winter, in any season other than the spring and early summer, they're not as accurate. And so these 2 wetland areas on this property could be vernal pools. But they don't know because they couldn't sample to see what species were in the water. And this would not be the first time that this has happened on a project. And the previous time, we had them go back and redo the wetland survey, and it turned out that what was a 50-foot buffer turned out to be a 100-foot buffer. So we're going to look at this checklist and give comments about it.
Did you get one? Okay,
Yeah, you dropped it off, didn't you? And Gray sent me one.
yeah,
Thank you.
I did.
you did.
Oh, thank you, Dean.
I'm like, somebody did.
I knocked on your door and you didn't answer, so I just slipped it under the door.
Okay, I thought it was Deb. All right,
But I
thanks.
got,
It was, I said I was gonna do
I know, but
Why did you do it?
because I knew you were, anyway, doesn't make any
Okay.
difference. But, okay, so this checklist, I would like to have attached to every applicant's application when they come in, that they have filled out this, saying they submitted it, wasn't submitted, not applicable, whatever. But every single project, I mean, this is not onerous, but it should be attached to every application that comes here. Because it really, it's a clear,
I thought there was one that was before, no?
I don't know, this one wasn't.
Okay. Maybe we can highlight or make it in, capital letters, because that is right in this delineation and mapping of wetland, that we prefer it done in the springtime.
Right.
So maybe that could be underlined, maybe.
So we've had two instances, one, where we sent the applicant back to redo their wetland survey, so it was done in the spring, early summer.
I mean, that's a hard, that project is hard.
That project is very hard. I know that site, it's got transmission lines on it.
Well, and he said it had been completely graded before in the 50s, and
Right.
I mean, it's all gravel, so I guess I was kind of like,
Right.
yeah.
I mean,
So,
if I were the person giving shoreline, exceptions, I wouldn't.
and how come we didn't get a copy of the shoreline protection application? We usually get a copy.
Of the copy, so all we had in the digital file was the plan, and then I have a paper copy of the application that wasn't in our file yet, so I couldn't attach it
So,
to
but,
the
but,
agenda.
so in that, is that the standard one that we always get for all projects?
Yep. Yeah, it's just the first page that has the address name, tax map, lot number. Just the regular thing, and then the contact sheet that has the conditions on it.
Does it have the letter from the Heritage Bureau? We usually get a package, and in the past, somebody in the planning department would call either Deb or me to come down and review it because it needed to be signed by the Conservation Commission.
Okay. Yeah, I can ask Rob about it. I haven't been given anything that needs to be signed by Concom, or a packet or the Heritage Commission letter for this project anyway. But I can run that by him and see if he is familiar with that being the way applications were handled before.
It's the way we've handled them for 15 years, so, actually more than 15 years, but, so we usually get a package, and sometimes it is just a package that went to the state because the state had to approve it, and we don't get a say on it. Sometimes we have to approve it, and then we approve it, we give it to the clerk, and the clerk forwards it to the state. But if they didn't do that, then they need to do it, and we need to see it.
I think sometimes too, just having more eyes on it can be helpful, because you come up with, oh, wait, this can't possibly be the right distances, or no, that's not true of the site. So it's always
Right.
good to have more eyes on it.
Or this isn't complete, or,
Right, right. Yeah.
Alright.
okay, so that's. Okay, Okay, so let's go back up, let's start over again here. So, do you have responses from Rob for the questions that we asked last meeting?
So there weren't like written responses for a list of questions that you had for him. It was the understanding based on the minutes that you asked all
Okay,
the questions to him. So if
Okay,
you
so-
want to review those answers though, you could just go to the YouTube video, because the whole meeting's on there, so.
right, no, so you're gonna include his answers in the minutes?
Answers to,
We have some questions about, what do you think about the idea of revising the wetland buffer?
yes.
And he said, so it would be, the question would be, and then his response was, I suggest that you tighten up the existing buffers.
Yes.
That would be his response.
Yeah, so those are included in the minutes, yes.
Okay, all right, good, great, that's a good place to put them. Thank you. Okay, so let's do this checklist.
I don't know if, some of them are redundant,
Are redundant?
yeah.
Okay.
Just like looking at indicate erosion and sediment controls on the plan, include a maintenance schedule for all devices. And then, so that's like number 2, I numbered them, sorry. But then like number 8, it says how will stormwater be managed on the property? I don't know if that's the same kind of information or not.
They're different, I
You
think.
think they are? Okay.
Yes, I think they are.
And then, I guess my question would be, since I want to add that biodegradable silt socks should be installed around the entire perimeter of a project and left in place, which one of those would you put that in? Or would it be its own?
I think we'd put it under erosion and sediment controls.
And a maintenance schedule, I mean, that's if you want to,
Okay.
yeah. And you said, and left in place, do you have for a hot period of time?
If they're biodegradable, I would,
So how would, well, the other, I guess it doesn't matter
mean,
then
that
if it's with
that
stakes
would
or
be
they're.
my ideal. Now, I understand, like, and he said today, he's like, oh, well, you know, the middle's biodegradable, but you have to pull up the
That's,
sheath, because a lot of them are plastic. In his case, he's got the wall there, so that's okay. But a lot of times, I like to see that little, I mean, it's advantageous to have a little perimeter lip.
so, a year or 2? I mean, I don't know how quickly this stuff biodegrades, but
I mean, in a perfect world, it would be forever. If it were, I mean, burlap does take time to degrade.
I'm trying to play devil's advocate, thinking of
No,
a
I
home,
know.
thinking of a homeowner's like, I've been looking at that filthy thing for 5 years now, and it's still there. You know, I'm just trying to think of.
I guess I feel like if it's biodegradable, if it has either soil in it or, I mean, if it's straw, that's not as good. But a lot of times you see the grass growing right over them.
Well, and sometimes it's impregnated with seed, so it
Right.
does, yeah.
Right.
Can we ask some of the manufacturers how long it takes for it to biodegrade and with the material,
Yeah, I mean,
surrounding
Could do some
material?
research.
I would, yeah, I mean, I would give the homeowner an out, like if it's still there.
And, okay, so I would say we request silt socks be installed around the entire perimeter and left for the project.
Left for the duration of the project plus 3 years or something, or, you know what I mean?
But if it's not biodegradable,
Well, if it's not biodegradable, then they,
Right.
I don't know, I guess I'm trying to, What do we
I'm just
want in
happy
its
to have
place?
silt socks around the whole perimeter.
oh, okay, well, I thought you, okay.
I mean, it would ideally, and if somebody asked, I would say, yes, they should be biodegradable and they should be left.
It's
I
up
don't
to
know,
you.
it's hard. I mean, I feel like we can't put these are a checklist to help, I don't know. This isn't like the law, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's not like we can say, yes, it has to be biodegradable.
Well, and you know, here again, it could be case by case specific. You know, somebody who has a low slope.
Maybe what we do is say, if you want to remove them after the project is completed, contact the planning department so that they could go out, Gray or whoever they designate can go out and do an inspection.
Well, don't I think most maintenance plans say until vegetation is established.
Yeah, I think
So I mean, so you don't want them pulling it up right away. So that's why I would say
Right,
something to the effect of must
6
remain in
months.
place until, well, given our season, when are they doing it? 1 year after the project.
Till the project's completed, construction completed, or
Plus 1 year.
vegetation is established, and vegetation
Well,
is.
yeah, but, well, yeah, because I suppose the stuff could burn off too. I was just trying to say, because I can see somebody going, I can see grass, pull it up, you know? I'm thinking of like that, you know, there was one place that I kind of stuck my foot in where they built the house and they put mulch down and then it was like big riverlets within a week. And it was just like, I don't know, it needed a silt sock there for a while. So that's all I'm saying is that,
no, I mean, like I said, I think it should be biodegradable, seeded or whatever, and just left in place. It's gonna pat down.
And I mean, if we say,
I mean, it's not, and I'm thinking rural developments, not
Yep.
something in the city, which
well, but
would be different.
yeah, but like this site I was talking about, they didn't have a lot of frontage, and what happened was, it ran downhill, filled up the retention pond, and then it was like overflowing into the neighbor's yard.
Right.
So that's why I'm just saying, you know, I'm not gonna put my foot down and go, you have to write it down this way, but I would say, you know, biodegradable is preferred, but if non-biodegradable is used, biodegradable and remain in place is preferred. If non-biodegradable is used, it remains in place till the end of construction plus, and say something like 8 months or a year or something. That's my recommendation. They don't have to take it, but.
Right.
well, it references here the New Hampshire Stormwater Manual, Volume 3, maybe there's something in that.
There could be.
Where's that?
There could be. Under helpful tools.
Under helpful tools, on
Oh.
the right-hand side.
Okay. I can do a little more research. on
Yeah, yeah, would you, I mean, if you
Yeah,
would like to, I
Yeah, well,
would be
this
comfortable
is-
with that.
this is my thing.
Okay,
I like the silt socks.
okay. Excuse me.
Okay, we done with that guy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have a question. Gray, do you know why this, item number 3, identify the location of any portable toilets that will be on site during, construction, and it has to be at least 33 feet from surface waters? 33 feet is not like 35 feet, 40 feet, 30 feet. How did we come up with 33 feet?
No, it's DES, that's their law.
Rule?
Yeah, rule, law, whatever.
Okay, so it's, okay.
It wasn't us, that was,
I am not surprised you knew that, actually.
Okay,
you wouldn't be surprised that I have a tape measure and I have measured some in my time.
okay, so, yeah, really, we just pace them off. Identify if the
biting.
project area is on New Hampshire Fish and Game highest ranked wildlife habitat by condition map. There is actually, I went to the lecture today, the webinar, and there is actually a wildlife habitat condition map that's in existence, and you can get it, it's, I think it's on granite. But it's like, when was the last time we saw somebody do that? I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that.
Right.
Okay. Indicate snow storage, I mean, you asked them about it today. Knowing that area, they would probably plow it across the road, and because across the road is, I think across the road there is undeveloped, and probably just, I don't know what
That
they would
would
do
be
with it,
bad,
but
I guess.
anyway. But snow storage must be outside of any wetland or water body buffers. Okay, I mean, that's, I think what we have to do is check and see if that ordinance that's referenced is still in existence and if it supports the statement.
Okay.
Are you taking notes, Deb, or is Gray, or? I'm not.
I am, I am
Okay,
too.
thank you.
I think-
Okay. And then delineate and mapping of wetlands and vernal pools. Okay, the other thing we typically ask for is a copy of the wetland scientist's report. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's,
Please provide a copy of the report.
yes, of CWS's report and report, yeah. I mean, I think the next one, provide a map that displays surface water. They typically have a survey that shows the topographical lines,
Right.
so that, and
I like directional arrows. That makes it easy.
around,
That would
around
help
the lake.
tonight.
What?
I said I like the directional arrows, though, also.
Right, and, along the lake, the water flows to the lake.
I don't know, that page 4 was quite busy as it was.
The whole thing was pretty busy.
How will stormwater be managed on the property? Detention ponds, swales, gutters, dry wells, rain gardens?
Yeah, we could put rain gardens there also.
Porous pavement, or where's that? Do we say that anywhere?
Permeable.
Permeable pavers, or pavement, whatever.
That would work.
I think it's good.
It was nice to see on that plan. Small as it was.
Include information on the design of any stream crossings. And the lecture today had a brief section about stream crossings. I don't think we've had too many with stream crossings. Probably,
That one up across
Langley
from Fun
Cove.
Spot. That's the one I remember,
oh, yeah.
with the paintball thing.
Do we, I imagine the stream, I'm trying to think if there's a definition of a stream.
Stream is class 1.
Yeah, I know, but I understand, I'm just, what's a drainage ditch and what's a stream? I'm just, that's what I was just trying to, I guess they wouldn't try to cross anything that wasn't.
Who knows?
Yeah, I know, I'm just saying,
I think the biggest problem is that we have taken care of, we've developed all of the easy sites. Now we're down to really challenging
Sure.
stuff.
Well, and also the stuff that,
A lot of water, too.
and when the easy sites were developed, they shunted a lot of water. I'm
Right.
just saying, so, yeah, that's,
Remember the people over on Scenic Road? Anyway, okay. Show describe any unique features of the wetlands and its buffers like vernal pools, but,
Should that be
yeah,
like number 6?
yeah. Yep.
What do you mean, number 6?
Where it's the delineation and mapping of the
Oh,
wetland,
okay. Well,
or you think it's different?
no, I guess it can go there, but I'm just thinking, wetlands also has a lot of wildlife value, not just vernal pool value for wildlife, but,
So we could make number 10, that one, where it says show and describe any unique characteristics of the wetland and the,
the wetland, its buffer, and wildlife value or wildlife habitat, or,
Using the New Hampshire Bureau of
okay, we won't combine,
Heritage Bureau information.
okay,
It's like, he had,
that needs to be separate.
he didn't really have all of that information. He didn't have anything about salamanders, he had turtles, only
Right.
turtles.
well, the Heritage Bureau only tells you about endangered and invasive, the Heritage Bureau that threatened, and, I mean, so, we could go broader, let's finish this up and see if there's a place then later to maybe go broader.
Okay,
Describe any unique characteristics of the wetland and its buffer as it pertains to,
Well, no, you could just say of the wetlands, its buffer, wetlands, comma, its buffer, and
okay.
its ability to support
And wildlife,
and wildlife habitat.
getting into
Okay.
for tomorrow night.
and I think if we, one of the things we can do is reference our NRI. I mean, we have, helpful tools.
We don't even mention our NRI.
What?
You're right, we saying helpful tools, but we don't even mention our NRI.
Or the Wildlife Action Plan.
Well, yeah, I mean, it needs to be updated first,
Our NRI or the action plan, oh,
our NRI.
well, it is,
And as it, and I think as it pertains to the master plan.
yeah. But looking at something old that has information is better than not looking at any information at all.
That's very true. Very true.
Okay, so we have, it's like the next few are all about wetlands. Right, provide pictures of wetlands.
Show any proposed, okay, so do we need to, are we,
I feel like that one
yeah,
should maybe be at the end.
Which one?
Number 11, does the site have potential for any environmental education purposes?
Yeah, I
It's
think
kind of
that's
stuck
right.
in the middle.
Right,
mm-hmm.
okay,
Move that
that's a good idea. And then we can take all of this, the wetland post area of impact photos, we can fold that all into the delineation and wetland, right? Delineation, mapping,
You mean 12 and 13?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
12 was the last one.
9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 12. So 12 is provide pictures.
Right.
That should be up with the delineate them and mapping of the wetlands, vernal pools,
Right.
Yeah,
include, and then, it should include the photos in color stamped with date and time.
Okay. And then 13 is at the top of the next page, show any proposed rain gardens, vegetated
that's,
swales.
didn't we already talk about that and how will stormwater be managed, or somewhere else, didn't we already talk about that?
I think, yeah, that was on how the stormwater will be managed, right? Sort of.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
And
kind
then
of,
I feel like that last sentence, include a list of plantings for any maintenance, I don't know. Yeah, that's,
seems like we can incorporate some of that into an existing one and maybe,
right. Yeah, I think we could fold that into, 7. No. Where am I? 8. What do you think, Dean?
And-
You think that fits in there? 13 and 8?
7, 10, 9, 8. Stormwater. 13 in stormwater, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
So how are we gonna do this? Are you gonna, you're marking this up and you're gonna give it to Gray so he can change the form?
Well, I'll mark it up and, yeah, I'll work with Gray.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think
'cause it's a little confusing.
that would be the easiest thing, I think.
Right.
Okay, so are we on 14 now?
Yeah.
List rare flora and fauna in the vicinity. All right, that's not the DHB, it's the New Hampshire Heritage Bureau. I think, isn't it? What's NHB?
that is New Hampshire Heritage Bureau.
New Hampshire Bureau?
New Hampshire Heritage
Hampshire.
Bureau. Oh, you're saying another H is
H?
missing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
H,
there should be
yeah.
another H. Natural Heritage Bureau is what it's called.
Yeah,
Natural
okay.
Heritage
Oh,
Bureau,
natural.
not New Hampshire. Is that right? Is that what you remember, Gray?
Natural Heritage Bureau?
Yeah, I believe so. Is that what you remember, Gray? Is that,
Yes.
yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Okey-dokey. All right, so then we got the invasives, that's good.
So. Do we want to have, for a tool, DES list of invasive species?
Yes.
For, which one? We're doing 14?
15?
15? Well, it's not just DES, but also the New Hampshire Department of Ag Markets and Foods, because they have that's where Doug Seigan's office is out of. The Uplands,
Mm-hmm.
the Upland Invasive Species.
Mm-hmm. So, what is that called?
Guide, it's the New Hampshire Guide for Upland Invasive Species, but it's out of the Department of Ag Markets and Foods.
Department of Ag, okay.
And DES is right. You were going to look at DES for aquatic,
For,
exotic, or whatever they call it now.
aquatic invasive.
Been around too long. They've changed the names too many times.
And I totally agree with you.
What?
That
I've
they
been-
change the names on these things too much on these guides and everything.
It's the T-shirt industry, it's doing it.
So 17,
Yep.
Wait a minute,
we're
14,
planning-
15, 16, 17, okay.
planning to cut trees within 250 feet of reference line of protected water body. If yes, follow the guidelines listed in,
So is that the right, is that vegetation management for water quality, is that the right reference tool? I don't think that's the right reference tool, is it?
I don't know, I'm making a note to check all of these reference tools as we go.
Okay,
I'll look them up. You know, and I feel like when they do apply for like a variance from the shoreline protection, does not the shoreline protection people say this is what you have to follow?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The problem is that the state gives the approval, but they don't follow up to make sure that people follow up.
Right, right.
And I don't think we, anyway. And I think we want to put in there, for number 17, that the stumps are to be left. If trees are removed, the stumps are to be left.
I mean, can we say that?
Sure we can. We can say anything we want.
Well, yes, it can.
But I
say.
think that's what the
But
recommendation.
legally,
Yeah, I think that's what the state says anyway.
so you think he's gonna cut down trees and leave the stumps there?
Well, it depends on how you cut the trees
can
down. You
grind
can
'em.
cut them, a foot off the ground, or you can cut them
Oh,
right
okay.
down
You
to
can
the
also,
Okay.
yeah, grind it,
So-
you can grind it flush
So
with
it's
it.
not really stumps, it's roots?
Removal.
It's stumps and roots.
Roots should be kept. I wonder if that's within this management for water quality.
Hmm.
I'll check that out.
Okay. Minimize the hydrological impact to the budding
I mean, does that include, I mean, that sort of is like stormwater runoff, correct?
What?
This minimize the hydrological impact?
I thought that there was a city regulation that says you have to maintain all of your stormwater on your site. You can't let it go off-site.
That's what I had been told, too.
It's a rumor, definitely.
When I lived in Long Bay and Southdown, that was the rule. You had to keep it on your site.
So this is different
Okay.
thinking on this. Has the city talked at all about draining underground resources?
Underground what?
Underground water resources. So we're starting to get this like dense development, and Jane and John never had any problem with their water until they put in this 5-house subdivision, and all of a sudden they have no water in there. Like, in other words,
Like, yeah, using the common aquifer. Or-
yeah, if it's an aquifer, or if
wells.
it's a, yeah. I mean, we've never
That's-
talked about that, but we're getting,
We're gonna talk about it tomorrow night,
Okay.
because Susan is very concerned about water in Gunstock Acres.
okay.
And that's part of the problem. They have 5 different wells, because it's community water up
Yeah.
there. And they drilled some more. I think they originally had 3, and they had to drill 2 more because people were at the top of the hill, would run out of water. And now, even now, when it's a booming season, like Massachusetts Vacation Week, and all of those homes are rented up in Gunstock Acres,
You have to get up early and take a
You-
shower.
you may not have much water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering if, I don't know how to go about this, because it's not in our maybe rules at all, about what kind of study do you ask for? Like a regional, I don't know.
I think we need to have a drinking water protection aquifer survey or zone.
But it's true, when you're putting in a large subdivision, or
What, the
Apartments.
44 unit.
apartments like up at the end of Province Street, there should be some calculations that have to be done to,
Don't they have city water there?
Not all areas of Laconia have city
Think-
water.
Oh, I know. Like
I think they do. Oh, I don't know.
Layton Avenue.
No, actually,
Layton Avenue has
they-
wells.
when they came, I have a well. When they came to us, I think they have their own system. That would be good. Do you know about that, Gray? The apartments up on Province Street?
I'm not sure. When we went by last, I saw they were putting in their electric, but I don't know what they do for water at that site. And that's a lot of units going in
It is a
there.
lot
Well,
of units.
I bet there is some sort of water, because you wouldn't have had the industrial park up there without it,
Right.
is what I'm thinking.
Right.
But it's probably expensive to tie in. I don't know how close the piping, you know what I mean?
Right.
Susan has to drill deeper wells.
Yeah, I mean, what?
I said Susan has to drill deeper wells.
She doesn't have, it's not her well.
Well, I know that,
Oh.
but when they put the wells in, they can't put them the same aquifer as the other one.
Isn't it the side of a mountain? Isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know
It's,
what's,
cracked bedrock.
there is no aquifer there, I don't think. That's probably the problem.
Well, so I guess that's one of our to-do things, is like, where are our the aquifers?
There is a
and-
big one up near that development, up at up by the skating rink. That's a big one up there.
Yeah, and.
But I don't know about the rest of the city.
Yeah, well, I thought there was another one.
Well, there's got to, I think that the water on Layton Avenue, all those properties have wells.
Well, yeah, but you're also water line.
Right.
Aren't you?
What do you mean?
You're right
The
by
lake's
the
right there.
lake. It's probably
Yeah,
a water
they
table.
drill down below the level of the
Water table,
lake
yeah.
and, plenty of water. But the point is, well, it could be, I don't think it's artesian, but
No,
could
just,
be.
for whatever, just made me laugh. Anyway.
As the lake goes down. I used to tease the kids in school. We'd be in the kitchen and they'd be having the water run in while they're doing the dishes, and I'm like, Pog's Bay just went down 2 inches because you've got that water running. And they'd be like, what? What does that have to do? And then we'd have a whole lesson about, guess what? Our drinking water comes from the lake.
okay, can we just go back to?
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
sorry.
off track.
Go back to 16 where it says, if yes, plantings must be, no, should be. I don't think we can say must.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. Where are we now?
Catch.
Who are we doing?
To minimize the hydrological impact,
Minimize the hydrological impact.
18.
we can do a little research on city or state law for that,
I,
Okay.
like if keeping it to your own property. Because there was, that issue, over by the Weirs where those 4 condos and the water was running down into that other condo unit. What was that?
I could tell you that when I lived in Long Bay, they cut down a bunch of trees in an area, and the houses around that area had water in their basements.
Well,
I was like, hey, I told you not to cut those trees, but no, anyway.
I didn't have trouble with water in my garage until the 6 houses were built back behind me, and you can't see them, but it runs right down into where this little stream is, and then it actually jumps the stream. But anyway,
Okay, all right, so,
but no, that's a good point, Lisa. They should have to study, especially with a big project, how much water it will draw.
And who else is in that, using the same resource?
Would that be a 23? Or
Yeah, kind of, a 19A? Can we do subsets of some of these numbers? Because Dean was talking about
Yeah.
delineation as being a heading.
I don't know, I feel like
okay,
it's
so,
separate.
so which one are we working on?
We're looking at 19.
I don't know which one's 19.
Explain the
Could
limitation.
you number years, please?
No,
It is the 4th one up from the bottom.
16, 17, 18, 19. Explain the limitations of all potential,
Alternative development locations on the site. Provide details of the appointments.
So I mean, this is, what I think what we're talking about here is like, you know, do you have to encroach on that buffer, or can you move the building over 3 feet and
Yeah,
still
we-
have,
Yeah, we did that on the guy up on White Oaks Road,
we've done it a lot, actually, and,
yeah.
yeah, so. Do we need to expand that at all? That point at all? Or explain it? I don't think so.
Well, and this is referencing
So it-
wetlands again.
Yeah, I mean, so they have this that they can look at, permitting avoidance, so, I mean, I think that's self-explanatory. They can look it up, they should have to look it up.
Mhm.
Are we allowed to say green space anymore? Sorry.
Sure.
I don't know. I've been asking people for a list and they've never given me one.
Just spray paint the concrete,
No, that's what they do in Arizona, is they spray paint the pebbles.
yeah. Well.
Green space calculation for the proposed project.
Okay, project docs will require the, permit. Don't we want silt curtains when they do that? When they put it,
I think so, when,
Silk
Okay,
in
let's-
the water?
okay.
if they're
so-
touching,
Silk
Yep.
curtains in the water?
yeah.
In the water, yeah. It's like the guy over on Cactus Jack's. He volunteered to put silk
Mm.
curtains in. Of any fill. We on 22 now?
Mhm.
Storage areas for any fill.
Okay, so along that lines, I'm noticing more and more projects with piles of dirt that aren't being touched, you know, for weeks on edge, and should they not be covered? To minimize any stormwater runoff?
Erosion.
Yeah,
So,
Put a silt sock around them.
yeah, that's an option.
I think
And,
covering it is better, but,
No, I think.
For
Yeah.
inspections, we have to take a training course from the EPA, and they kind of introduce you to different types of stockpiles you'd see on site. But for specifically which ones were covered and which ones weren't, they don't like give you the information as to, or what guidelines there would be for when you need to cover a pile or not. They just teach you how to inspect if one is covered or uncovered, what it should be looking like.
so they don't consider that a best practice?
They did not, that I remember, cover whether or not, when a pile should be covered.
We should just say they should always be covered, because you know what? Even a dry pile, you can have wind erosion.
Yeah.
Of soil.
Okay, so I'm gonna play devil's advocate
No.
because
Go
if
ahead.
you cover a pile with plastic,
Yeah.
that's,
And then you have the
that's what,
plastic degrade.
no, that's what you do when you have contaminated soil. Like I was down in Tilton today, there is a gas station that has a horrendous pile of gasoline contaminated soil covered with plastic.
So are you saying we would be sending the wrong message if we just said automatically cover it?
I think we could, we could ask them to hydroseed it.
Not if they're gonna reuse it, I mean,
Yeah, hey, let it grow until you're ready to reuse it. But in the meantime,
Don't want
should you
grass
put a
in there.
plastic over it?
Well, if you hydroseed it, what you're doing is you're effectively putting, it's got like a cover on it, right? Because they have like a fiber, right? The seed is mixed in with a fiber, so you're essentially plastering the top of the pile when you hydroseed it.
Right.
We could stipulate with I don't wanna say porous, with breathable covering, or I'm just trying to get away from your.
I think using plastic is the best,
All right,
but the problem is that it could, some people could interpret it.
plus
What-
it could degrade, and then you have plastic in the water, and we have plastic in our blood,
Yeah,
and in our
yeah,
brains.
Jesus. Make a suggestion.
Plastic in your
So
brain is
maybe,
better
maybe
than-
silt socks around the pile.
Definitely that.
I'm gonna invest in silt socks.
That's it. Buy the company.
Don't say that. You can't say that.
Again. I think putting plastic over it with silt socks around the perimeter of the pot.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
You can always ask.
We can, God.
Okay, so what about, okay,
I mean, I just think of terrible weather like we're having today. And
Sure.
it's gonna pour tonight, and there's dirt piles on that project, that missile silo on Union Avenue, and that water is gonna go into the sewers and probably right down to Irwin Boat and out into the lake.
What missile silo?
Across from
Union
Irwin
Avenue?
Marine. Have you been down there?
it's
He
not
calls
a
it the
missile
missile
silo.
silo, but it's,
Bisson Ave, is it on Bisson Ave or
It's
something?
across from the fire department.
no, it's across from Irwin Marine. Right on Union Avenue, there was an empty lot, and they're developing it, and what they've done, isn't it, it's an elevator shaft?
Yeah.
Oh, I know what you're talking
They
about.
put the elevator
I know-
shaft up
I know what you're
first,
talking about,
and then
yeah.
he called it last time a missile
Yeah.
silo, and I was like, that's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah, I know, okay, I know.
But they have no silt socks.
No.
And this stuff is running right into the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went over with Scott after our meeting, and they did a little bit of melting, took some pics, and they didn't have any erosion controls.
So why not?
on-
Why not? Huh?
So, it's my impression that was a project, I believe, maybe approved by a previous planning.
So what?
So
So what?
whatever they have for conditions of their approvals is what they would have to stick to.
No,
No,
that's,
no,
that's,
no,
no, no, no, no, no, no. If you start a project under certain regulations and they change the regulations, they can change what you are required to do. In this case, you either, I think what should be done is what we're talking about here. Put silt socks all around that side that is adjacent to Union Avenue, because it's gonna wind up in our sewers. Then, Wes Anderson's gonna have to send a crew out to pump out the sediment in the sewers so that the sewers flow properly.
Well, you're in the middle, aren't you, Greg?
I mean, whoever was in charge, whenever they were approved by planning board, those are the conditions they were approved with.
Yeah, but that's a
So we can't-
best practice thing.
Yeah,
That's
so
not,
we can't go back and change or add anything to the conditions, but we can go back and see what they have for, what Concom's comments were previously, if you looked at it.
well, no,
We didn't- we didn't get to
see
review
that,
it.
and we didn't see the project, I mean, that's what's happening. We didn't see the project that was, across from, what was it? Across from, where Chaos and Kindness was. Because they dug up that whole parking lot and there was dirt running into the streets there. It was the same situation.
And actually, on Valley Street, when Scott McPhee was here, I took pictures of stuff, and his comment was, well, we've had unusually heavy rains, but it was running chocolate milk right into the drain.
Yeah.
So,
Well, what about Langley Cove, that project, and,
yeah, well, we've identified an issue, and we've said that we need to see all plans, and maybe what we need to do is start listing the reasons why we need to see all the plans by site.
But we said that at our last meeting,
right, and,
and people agreed to it. And
Right.
then
well,
that project was in the paper this week, and we haven't seen any of that.
yeah, well, that was probably ahead of our request to see every project, but.
And also, are they still sticking to the, there is a term for it, where it's because it's for the greater good, we don't get to see it.
Oh, the what is it called? Zoning, performance zoning?
Performance zoning, thank you.
Yeah, they're still sticking with that, but we asked if we could see every project.
Well, I just didn't know if that was
Because-
part of the,
I mean,
for housing.
it's not a question of us approving, because we don't have teeth anyway, but we can definitely make suggestions as to,
We can
know.
identify issues.
Right, but I think, well, we don't need to, we all know what's been said in the past. I was just trying to make a point that maybe if we start keeping a list of the reasons why we're asking, this site, this site, this site, this site, and this is why we keep coming back to you about it.
But we did that with Rob last time, and he agreed.
Right.
So I think,
Okay, well, I apologize. I
no,
probably wasn't
no,
here
that's
then.
okay, that's okay. So I think this list
Yeah. Yeah.
should be attached to any application that comes in.
yeah, and like I said, I thought we had one that was attached to each of them, but I could be wrong.
Okay,
We had suggested that, yeah.
okay.
I guess when I, the few times that I've signed off on projects where you weren't here and I had to sign them, when you go through the pages, some of these are suggested,
Right,
right?
some
But
of
it's
them.
not exactly a conservation list, so. You wanna see the signs?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Lisa.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa.
Do you need an invoice? I mean, I have.
Well, you sent me the invoices and I photocopied them when I
Okay.
paid them, so.
So, we have invasive species.
Oh, nice, those look good.
They are.
These are great.
Pollinators.
Yeah, nice.
We have plenty of gardens that we can, because I know you already got a pollinator sign, right?
Well, for that one site, yeah.
Right.
No, looks good.
And what is a watershed?
I don't know. Do we have any around here?
Did you get mounting stuff and all that?
I
too?
didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. This is-
Sign, like
this
a
is-
street sign.
Right, and this is a smoother finish, so hopefully it would clean. So he just said you can drill beep and put it on there like that. I also looked up, you can buy brackets, to mount them differently. The good thing is that if they do get vandalized, that can't be cleaned up, they have that on file now.
Right.
And they can print us up another one,
Right.
which is great, as long as they're.
They're there.
Hands up.
I was thinking,
DPW? Oh, I think it'll be, less is so,
I mean, if we did, if we had them drilled, so that we wouldn't get drilled in the writing parts, because maybe I wouldn't trust everybody to do that, right? But, if we had them pre-drilled, and then all they had to do was stick the post in the ground and connect it, you don't think?
actually, I put the posts in the ground for, BCCD over at the, community gardens.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard to do. You take a post hole digger and you dig a hole. You put the post in, put some concrete in the hole, cement in the hole,
Uh-huh.
add water, Proso Changeo.
So, what they sell, I'm sorry, I thought you were done. Go ahead.
No.
Yeah,
and-
you've put up more signs than any of us.
And then, what is Mark's last name? He's really, he's very handy. If we ask him to drill holes here, we tell him the diameter of the hole so we can put a bolt in.
Right.
Attach it, because the posts for BCCD, those over at the community garden, those are good posts.
They came spaced, so you'd have to figure out your spacing for the
Right,
bowls.
right, yeah, right, but those are good posts.
You also had security bolts. We ordered
Right.
security bolts, so
Right.
they can't steal the sign.
Can't unscrew
Oh,
them. You may wanna put those in a bracket, because, then they'll be up there with rocks and throw and let's see if we can break that. Put any ideas in people's minds, but,
I know. Anyway,
cool.
yeah.
Thank you, Devin,
Thank you, Debbie.
Lisa.
Lisa,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you to the district.
Okay, so I put these projects, Langley Brook, Langley Cove, public information meetings. Now, public information meetings happen to pop up May 10th. The Congregational Church is having their program, their Earth Day kind of program. And Martha Cruz, Muff, is coming to the next meeting. I offered her, yeah, I offered, and she said that she needed to have practice doing her public speaking, and that she needed to, I said,
Okay, because he originally asked her to come to the meeting to talk to us about, but because it's an Earth Day fair, basically. They have a lot of different groups that are gonna have tables. And then but Dean said that, and I said, she doesn't need to come and talk to us, we're gonna set up a table.
but she wants to come, she's gonna come to,
I've already,
Lisa's.
I've already emailed with her.
Yes, you're
What
gonna
she's
do.
trying to do is coordinate so that there's lots of different stuff to happen.
Right,
so
right,
I think
right.
That's why she wants to meet with people.
So one of the things we need
Doing.
is we need write-ups of what we do.
Right.
So what do we have? We have any write-ups of what the Conservation Commission does, or issues that we're wrestling with, or,
We need to make a little flyer.
yeah, that's what I mean.
You have your RSA. Why do conservation commissions exist? And in your RSA, that's spelled out. So
Okay.
you could start there, and then you could talk about what you do locally.
Some of the projects we've done.
You know, the kinds of things we review and advise on, and then, yeah, our projects.
So
And
that fits right in with, do we have any of those write-ups?
There's a couple sentence descriptor on the Laconia website, I believe, as well as, like Lisa said, in the RSA. It maps out the process that an application has to go through, and it refers going before Conservation Commission. From what I remember, it's not super detailed, but I can send it your way.
But we don't have any
there.
flyers or anything downstairs, no. I mean, there are some that we could use. I mean, I have tons of flyers and stuff. I told you, I have all kinds of
If you wanna,
invasive species things and
yeah,
everything.
if you wanna put stuff on the table.
Yeah,
But I know, so I think she's already spoken to Cooperative Extension about putting out planting information and seeds maybe, I don't know, because I think Extension's gonna talk to Master Gardeners maybe to try to
oh, okay.
get that information.
What are you gonna do you know?
I thought I would try to get the, tabletop Incredible Journey, somebody stole one of my cubes, but if I can get it made up before then, the tabletop Incredible Journey, so kids can build a bracelet as a water drop, and so I thought I would
yeah.
kinda, that would be what but I told her, I said, I've got lots of information. If you want, like, I can print out a copy of the Vermont Rain Garden Guide, Rain Garden Manual for you, and you can put that on your table.
Could we use the watershed model?
Sure. It's, I mean, the poor
Everybody
thing-
in everyone in Laconia has probably seen it by now, but
Well, I was gonna say, that poor thing is like, it looks terrible at this point, but sure,
I think it looks great.
sure.
I have an affinity for it, I'm
I
sorry.
know, no,
I've
don't
used it so many
apologize.
times.
Don't apologize, I'm just saying, it's kinda like, maybe me, anyway. No, you can use it.
I'm also on the mailing list for, oh my gosh, New Hampshire,
Drinking water.
no, well, that's a different thing. New Hampshire Environmental, whatever. group.
Educators,
No, it's
Oh.
not that. It's, I forget what it is exactly. But anyway, they were advertising today that they want somebody to represent them at this fair.
oh,
And I was like, you know,
can I?
Anyway, so it's May 10th, and I said we would do it.
time, do you know?
No, I don't. We're gonna ask Mufflin.
I think, I wanna say 10 to
3?
1 or 2 or something, yeah, I wrote it in my book, but I don't have it in.
It's a
So I said the
Saturday.
Conservation
Yeah, it
Commission
is.
would do it,
Yeah,
and
it's a
then I
Saturday.
remembered that I'm not gonna be here. It's just like, and I would have liked to have been here, but anyway. So,
Stick us with all the work.
what?
You're gonna stick us with all the work. Do we have a tablecloth downstairs?
Like a reusable one?
Yeah.
Not that I know of. I know when we've
I think
used
we ordered, didn't we order one?
tablecloths, They're disposable.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you.
I think
if
we
you
ordered
it.
one with our name on it.
Okay,
Really?
yeah.
See if you can find it.
okay, I'll ask them
Oh,
tomorrow.
you know what? We did, because we used it over
The park?
in the park.
Yeah.
Remember when we had that table and we had all those documents that we,
What is the UNH fishing game Zoom meeting for the 19th?
what's the what?
What is that fishing game Zoom meeting with UNH on the 19th? Item 8.
Oh,
4.
is that your,
Oh, that's, no, that's not right, no. Well, there is one, but that meeting is the one is the last of the 4 meetings, and I don't think that that's the one, but the point that I wanted to remember was that they are going to have another, what they call it when we did this, when we did these signs.
a cohort?
They're gonna have another cohort. They're going to have an opportunity to submit a project, and they will help you do the project, just like they did with this.
Okay, so there's something you were talking about today. Are you taking a training today? You said you attended something today.
There are 4 sessions, and this
Okay.
is
What is it called?
today was habitats and
Oh.
trails.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't go. I
And
haven't seen any of them.
so,
I always
Um,
forget about them.
so the point of this one on the 19th is that we want to redo the NRI. So FB Environmental is going to zoom in on the 19th and talk to us about their ideas for, what's her name? Sarah Large? Yeah, she's going to use a Zoom and communicate, here are the things we could do, this is about how much it'll cost.
You're going to these trainings too, Craig?
I attended the first one just for
Okay.
extra education.
So today, I sat in on a,
Well, wait, let me just finish this,
Okay.
okay? So we're gonna redo the NRI.
Okay.
But we're gonna have FB Environmental redo it. So, when Rob was here last meeting, we asked, how much money do you have? He has none. So we said, okay, well, maybe we can apply for a grant. And, Rob volunteered the economic development lady to do the grant. But I talked to Barbara Richter today and said, hey, can we use our conservation funds to do this? And she said yes.
and today, I sat in through a 4-hour webinar.
I saw that.
The what?
And I was like, when you didn't answer the phone, I'm like, she's at that meeting, because
There's
it went to like 1:30, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a 4-hour webinar, but
Oh, yeah, I know which one.
on the
you mean.
grants.
It was
So,
all grants.
so as soon as they send, they're gonna, what she said was, she being the one that coordinated it, people will send in their slides that they showed, and with their contact information and everything, and once she sends that to me, I will send it to Gray to send to all of you. So, because there were like 6 different entities that explained their grants programs. I'll send that all to you.
Moose Plate was one, and
Moose Plate was, yeah, so.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, well, no, I'm just saying, I sat through them.
I knew you would be. I was like, that's
And
what
a-
she's doing.
And one of them was just, this guy loved numbers, and by the time he was done, my brain was going, "Froo." So, God love him. But anyway, so if you're looking for grants, there's probably money.
Okay, so a grant is one option.
Right.
The other is that we can use our conservation funds, because we're maxed out at $250,000 now.
Well, but I thought too, were we talking about purchasing any land? Not that we can talk
Well,
about what lands,
yeah,
but
we
I'm
don't
just
have any
saying.
land to purchase, but if,
Okay.
so we're maxed out, so any property that comes out of current use, we don't get any money.
I
It all goes
understand,
into the city.
because it's maxed out and it's going to the
Right.
general fund now, I
So
understand.
so this is a legitimate use of the conservation funds.
Yes, I agree that it is.
But we don't know how much it's gonna cost, because
That's right.
when I talked to Sarah, she said, you're at one level if you just want to use existing information, you're at a second level if you want a field checked.
Yep.
So, let's see what she has to say, and she's gonna give us ballpark numbers for doing the different levels.
FB. Sarah at FB.
Mhm.
Okay.
So, okay, so that's great. So did you enter the grant thing? And I looked at that and I was like,
Yeah, I mean, it was overwhelming, and the last two people, and the last person who spoke covered two different grant programs, and she could tell, she even said, yeah, it's the end of the day, right? Because we were all fried. But that information's coming.
good,
So.
good, okay. And you know, the other thing is, so then we can go down to where we prioritize projects. One of them is Langley Brook. FB did a study of Langley Brook and identified, I think it was 8 areas where the brook needs to have some changes made to it so that less sediment gets into Langley Cove. Because until that is dealt with, the state doesn't even want to entertain the idea of
Dredging,
dredging Langley Cove.
Is this Wooden Stream, or is it
or some of it is, I think.
Is it what?
Wooden Stream, kind of the stuff that we've been doing?
I don't
with
know.
Sarah?
I don't
think
know
one of them
because,
at least was, yeah.
so. Anyway. Okay, so Gray, at one point, didn't you talk about how you were compiling the tributary data, water quality data, into a table format on the computer?
So it's already in a table, and I put it into a map. So
Oh.
it can be viewed on
You're the man.
ArcGIS. But I remember saying that I'm not. It's an interactive, so I'm not really sure how I would be able to share it with you if you don't have an ArcGIS account. But because if I print the map out, it doesn't show the data like drop down, you know. So there are sharing options. We do have an actual GIS guy who works at DPW, and he's helpful. So I can reach out to Paul and ask if he has a way.
I know that, I wonder if Cooperative Extension, because when Shane Brandt did a one-day workshop on it, we were all able to bring our computer and get into, like, I don't wanna say it's Google Docs, but you know what I'm trying to say, into a site where we could all work on
Yeah.
so maybe.
Hopefully. That would be awesome because I mean, I had talked when I was putting the map together to the guys about like wanting to hopefully publish it somewhere, but right now we're not sure how to do that with ArcGIS just because we're not that familiar with the software.
Yeah.
But whenever we have any hiccups, we reach out to Paul and he usually figures out a way around it, or I just reach out to Esri directly.
Yeah, okay.
Who's the company. So yeah, hopefully we can figure something out so we can have you guys have access to that.
Yeah,
'Cause,
just don't let us change anything. Thanks.
That's the problem, yeah.
Okay, I think, you know, the Lake Winnipesaukee
Alliance.
Alliance has a dashboard where you can look at a site, and you can click on it, and the data by year will pop up. That's what I thought we were gonna try to do. But, so maybe the fact that you've already entered the data into the computer, it can be transferred to some other website so that or program. And the person who would know is Bree. You know Bree?
Yeah.
Okay. She would know. If you tell her the format that you have the data in, I'm sure that she,
Yeah, she might be able to suggest
Yeah.
a way to
make it more user-friendly.
show it, have it show up and then be able to add to it.
Yeah, yeah, because I know how I can add to it, but, yeah, I'm not sure how I could make it a viewer role so that you guys could look at it, but still have it be interactive and where I
I
could
mean,
post
maybe
that,
we
but-
don't need the map part of it.
Okay,
Maybe, the data would be enough
Yeah.
for now.
yeah, I have the data. I'm pretty sure I sent that to Dean already, but, double
Dean.
check.
Lord knows where it
Double
went,
check.
like La La Land somewhere. I think my teddy bear took it.
Goodness.
Okay, all right, good. If you could figure that out, that would be great. All right, so Adopt a Spot, Lisa has the one over in Opeachy.
Well, and I was just saying, I don't, did I? I mean, I would be willing, if how can I put this? Do you already have a site in mind that you would like an Adopt a Spot?
Mm-mm.
I'm sure they have more spots than they have people willing to take them on. But I think it's time that BCCD not have that Adopt a Spot, because we just don't have, volunteers, and
What if we ask the Boy Scouts to do it?
we could.
And just,
You want me to, okay, so you want BCCD to keep it, or do you wanna take it over and you have the Boy Scouts work with you on it? Let me talk to Glenn and find out what it might involve.
okay, that would be great.
Are the Work Unlimited kids still around?
They are still around. She sent me an email, but she sent it right at the time where it was like, we didn't know. We still don't know. Our budget has not been approved for 2025 yet.
Right.
So that's a question, and next week we'll know. But she just sent it at a time I was not receptive. Not because I don't want to work with them, but.
Was she just in general talking about projects with you, or was she specifically
just-
asking about cleaning, or?
She just sent me an email.
Okay.
So, I can go back into it.
Did they help you with the plant sale last year?
They do not help me with the plant sale.
No,
don't
I
believe-
mean,
I don't
packaging plant, I mean, we did, remember that, not last year, but the year before,
We've had,
we used them to, they helped.
yes,
package.
I didn't have the crew that we worked with last year for gleaning,
Okay.
but we have in the past had work opportunities assist us.
Right.
And as the space has gotten smaller and smaller, well, I'm also thinking of, just,
Yeah.
it's not fair to them to put them in that cramped space and ask them to do something new.
So could the Boy Scouts help with your plant sale?
The Boy Scouts could potentially help with the plant sale. I need to see what my sales numbers are.
Do you have the same space
I-
at the farm?
He has not, that is what I'm anticipating. He has not told me no.
So what are the dates of your plant sale?
It is the last weekend in April, the 25th, 26th, and 27th, I think. I think the 25th is the Friday. We're in Gilmington on that day. Yes. We're on Gilmington in the 25th, the 26th, and 27th. We're at Picnic Rock. And yeah, I think they could, Dean. I mean, that picking up, when the customers pick up the orders, that is really, because I just can't be in 3 places at once.
Oh, yes, you can.
You
Not
try.
successfully.
You
Yeah,
try.
not successfully. So they could very, very much help me with the plant sale. So I will reach out to Glenn for that.
I mean, especially if I don't have a truck anymore, I mean, I'll put whatever I can in my car and take it over.
Yes,
to-
that reminds me, I need to get our
True.
truck, inspected. We might not have a truck anymore either.
We're trying to do
You
away
what?
with inspections, that would help you.
No, I'm
Okay.
just, it's 20 years, more than 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dean. Yeah,
Okay.
so thank you for bringing that up, and I will stay on top of that.
I think they may need like community service
Yes.
hours or something, so. Okay, all right, so then vernal pools. So the vernal pools that I know of, I listed here. So we have 3 at Taylor Community. We have that are on the, I wanna say anyway, I know about where they are. I just don't have them mapped. we have Lafayette Street.
Yep.
We have, there are two at Prescott Farm, and I know where those are. Home Seas Project is a vernal pool.
Yep.
I think there is a vernal pool on Layton Avenue North where Layton Avenue and I forget the name of the street that comes down.
Daisy Gardner?
Yeah, I was gonna
No,
say that.
no, no, the one that comes, part of it's in Meredith and part of it's in,
Oh, yeah. I forget the name of it.
I don't know, I'll think about it tonight around 2 in the morning. I'll send you an email, okay? Anyway.
Pearly Pond?
And then, I have a question as to whether Pearly Pond is a vernal pool. It's got no fish. It's got,
It doesn't
It's-
really dry up, though.
It's got a drain.
it's got, and it's got frogs,
Is there one back behind there?
yep, and there's one back there,
There's the
That's-
wetland.
Like back behind?
yeah, back by,
Parking lot?
Yeah, the county parking lot, it's all cattails and stuff.
Not,
yeah,
I mean, the parking lot for,
right, for the
Center.
for the
Bean
conference center, yeah, for the
where
bean
did I
cone.
see that they're trying to rezone that?
Uh-huh.
Are they trying to sell that? Do we know anything about that, Greg?
Last I saw, it was just, they're attempting to rezone it, but I don't know anything about a sale.
Rezone the conference center?
No, well,
I think so.
I don't know if the conference center is on that lot, but it's the 35 Blueberry,
Yeah,
which is abutting the conference center,
they were,
On which side? On the,
closer to Pearly Pond. It's like a very narrow strip.
what do they
yeah,
wanna rezone it as?
as apartments or, right, something, housing, some kind of housing.
I have the newspaper at home so I can read it when I get home.
I believe it's just being rezoned as residential.
Mm.
Which everything around it is, so it's abutting
It's
the residential
residential.
zone anyway, so, yeah.
So I don't know whether Pearly Pond is
Okay.
a vernal pool. You know, we'd have to have a wetland scientist come and figure it out.
The gardens, the site? What
Yeah.
gardens are that?
Remember the gardens? We did that walkthrough up there. There's a vernal pool there.
Were you with us? It was,
Oh, off
Way in the
Weirs?
back?
Off Weirs?
Yeah.
No, I didn't go with you because I couldn't walk.
it was far back.
No, I didn't.
I don't know what kind of, what it's, the condition of is it anymore. They've been
No.
playing back there for so long.
Right.
I mean,
The erosion. Anyway,
um,
so those are the ones I know of or have a question of.
wasn't there a little one when we walked that access road for fire trucks or whatever from, it was above the weirs.
On the,
I need that
Oh,
map.
oh, I
hate
know
not
which,
having that
it's
map.
over by Langley Brook.
Yes, it was further west of there, north of there. Anyway, but remember we walked down that, and it was gonna be an access road, it was gonna be.
And there's a
case of
stream right
emergency.
alongside of it. That's Langley Brook.
No,
I think so.
on the one side, I think it was. This was a
Going down
little
the hill
tiny,
was on the right-hand
this
side.
was a little tiny pond by
Oh.
the road. And we were like, oh, that looks,
I don't know.
it didn't, well, anyway. Yeah, there's plenty of places that we haven't explored.
I know, but my point is that if we start, like if Gray can make a map, a vernal pool map, and put these on there, then we gotta start, and now we
What
just, whenever somebody comes in with a property that they wanna develop,
what, down by the airport, that section of Laconia, Guilford.
Right.
Part of, cause like part of Walmart's in Laconia and part of Walmart's
Right.
in Guilford.
Right.
That whole area, I mean, of course, they've been in there now with everything for a number of years, but there were a lot of vernal pools in there.
On the Cinema 8 side?
No, that's Guilford. The other side, like where the,
Salt Marsh Pond?
No, 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 no.
that's-
Walmart.
Oh,
Thinking
no, no, no,
Walmart.
no, I'm not thinking Salt Marsh, Lily.
Lily Pond, yeah, like up behind, because Lily Pond, I think, is all Guilford, is that right? But then,
No,
well, anyway, I'm just thinking, when I was a kid,
Yeah.
we used to run around all that, and, because that's the backside of like Prescott Farm and all that other stuff, so.
right.
I'm just saying, don't rule that out. Well, not
There
Prescott
were-
Farm, but
There
that
were
area.
there's no ponds up where they're putting the solar field, is there?
It's a lot of wetland.
I know
The
there's
wetlands, but,
We need to go and take
so,
some
I,
walks.
you know, I think the question, you know, and that's, you know, that's a good question. They mapped those as wetlands. When did they map them? And are they really vernal pools?
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not saying you're gonna find it.
Spring is coming.
I went down,
The
I remember
peepers
this,
are- Yeah,
one year I went walking in the woods down at Pearlie, at Prescott Farm.
Yeah.
And there was a vernal pool that was probably the size of this room. There must have been hundreds of frogs there. And they were like, I mean, they were like, it was like
they were going to
going,
town.
it was like going to Jones Beach in the middle of the summer and trying to find a spot to put your blanket. Like, anyway.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are we done with that?
We're
Not to-
done with that.
Not to rush you. I had a couple things. So I was looking at the multi-list page today on land that's available in Laconia.
Of what available?
Land.
Oh, cool.
So there was just 151 acres sold on Pickerel Pond and Parade Road. Do you know anything about that, Gray? It's a 150 acres, and it's like on the corner of Pickerel Pond and Parade.
I think, is that place where the house burned down?
The White House, right in the corner where the little cemetery
Yeah, it was an old
is.
house, has a antenna
Yeah,
in the
little
yard.
cemetery right there.
Could be. Anyway, that was 899,000 that it was
That
listed
wasn't
for.
enough. They stole that for that.
And and it's supposedly sold.
900 divided by 180, 180 acres,
150.
150. So that's $40,000 an acre,
Well, maybe not. Maybe my math is on.
right? Is that right?
So
40?
You're probably right.
there's
No,
also
80, 40, 50, I don't know what it is.
there's also a lot for sale on Parade Road for 149,000 that looks very similar to the lot that the man came and wanted to put those houses on. And I wondered if he was reselling, because he didn't wanna,
How many acres was it?
I didn't write it down, I think it was, I can't remember what it was, but I know it was 149.
149,000.
Yeah, and it was listed like 7 days ago. It's like,
That, the one where we got in trouble because we made
yes, because
suggestions?
the outline of this lot for sale is very similar to, so I just wondered if he scrapped his idea and is
So
selling.
who's the real estate agent?
Go on multi-listing.
I'll call Scott.
I was gonna, there's 40 acres for sale across from Mike's house and on Roller Coaster Road for $1,199,000. 40 acres, so I feel like it's where the Christmas tree farm was, maybe?
Yeah.
No, Garlic Ridge, yeah.
Yeah, they cut out the 2 houses, but the acreage is for sale there.
Maybe we should get Mike to buy it.
And then there's 231 acres in the Weirs, Route 3 in Hilliard, for $5 million. Okay, just saying, not that we can buy it, I'm just telling you what's out there. The drive-in is for sale for $7.5 million. And then on Weirs Boulevard, 7-Eleven is 3,500,000. And that's like, I didn't write down the acreage, 20-some acres. So it's next to,
That big development that's going in.
well, is it, I wanna say, is it the glamping site? Did they scrap their plans? And are they selling?
7-Eleven?
7-Eleven is the number. 7-Eleven Weirs
Oh.
Boulevard.
Oh, I thought that was,
Sorry.
I thought you were talking about the Cumbies.
Yes.
Sorry. It's very close to where they were gonna do the glamping. And I wondered if they scrapped it.
Can't we look?
I haven't heard anything about them scrapping glamping.
Unless it's
Oh,
next to it.
Oh, you know where it might be? It might be the paintball place.
No,
What's,
By Fun
what's the
Spot?
address?
7-Eleven.
paintball
Weirs
is by
Boulevard.
Fun Spot. Right? This is Weirs Boulevard. This is
that's- I got the
it's a
wrong
little
place.
down past Christmas Island on the right. But it says that that sewer has been brought to the top of the site. And I'm thinking
Well, that,
that's what the glamping was, wasn't it?
7-Eleven Weirs Boulevard. huh?
Yeah, I mean, you are right, it's right by Christmas Island. That's not the city maps, but,
Right.
Here.
Well, he's looking.
okay.
Anyway, just to keep our eyes.
So are you looking to buy, Deb? I
I'm-
mean, what's the story?
I'm looking at where people are developing in these large tracts of lands that are out there that if people buy, like the 150 acres that was just bought on Pickerel Pond and Parade Road, what kind of development they're looking to do.
And I came up with $6,000 an acre, is that right?
I didn't,
Glamping.
it's
It
the
was-
glamping,
It says right there, glamping.
so maybe
It's
he
right by,
decided not to,
yeah,
which is okay.
Yeah.
how much was that one? 5 million?
No, that was 3,500,000.
Yeah.
Oh,
But Dean, that other one, that 150 acres at $900,000, it only cost $6,000 an acre, is that right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's cheap, so I was right, it was a steal.
So just, I mean, when we're looking at, wildlife corridors and places we wanna buy or whatever, or it's just good to know what's out there.
Collins Brook, Collins
right.
Brook Road.
Well,
I saw a moose there once.
so, not necessarily buy, but when you're talking about easements, you're talking about corridors, like, see if we can get a right-of-way corridor or something for.
Right. Especially if,
Somebody comes in with a development
With a
plan,
big-
we can ask them to put in a corridor.
and, and how, and what is our philosophy gonna be to approach these big places, or, we gonna suggest cluster housing and, to save some of this land. That's it. I mean, no, that was my, I
Well,
just,
So,
go ahead.
well, I mean, we can't keep giving planning something to do, but on one board that I sit on, we come up with parcels of interest, and we have it it's on a map. Somebody's tracking it on a map. And when stuff comes up, we know that, oh yeah. So, I'm just saying, that might be something we could do. I think the person that coordinates, the person that puts the map together is working on she does it on ArcGIS. And that might be something a visual that you would want it to develop, but it requires staying on top of it.
Right.
Because, that parcel sold, so it comes out of a priority parcel, or what we also do is strike up a relationship with the landowner of a priority parcel and just say, if you ever have any thoughts, we might be interested in helping out with a wildlife corridor. We're not saying we want to buy your property, that you can't sell your property, but if there's a wildlife corridor on it and the right of way, that would just be a small part of it that wouldn't ever be developed as an easement, maybe we could do.
And I feel like, especially with as much wetland is left, or steep slopes, that's when these developers come to us, that's something we can suggest. I mean, it's a tax break for them, even if it's a small amount of land.
Yep, so,
And it preserves that.
so what we would say is, you know, these are our 4 criterias. Let's identify, well, do we already have that in the NRI, though? Let's identify these properties with these 4 criteria: steep slopes, wetlands, wildlife value, and whatever other one you wanted, recreation or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I know Mike is we don't want to cut off any recreation. So, and then build out our Laconia mapping from there. And, you know, build up relationships with landowners that may have an interest, and it's voluntary, so they can tell us, no, I don't care, I don't want to talk to you, go away, fine, you know, but.
You know, and the same with the vernal pools, you know, that's, you know, if somebody has a vernal pool on their property,
Yeah.
and they know that it's not gonna be developed anywhere near it, why not put it in the easement?
Because you're right, I mean, you know, right now the rules are this, but then the rules could change, we've always talked about that.
Yeah.
There is something else going on outside. Sounds like somebody's. Is it a mop?
Is there a cleaner that comes?
We have Joyce Cleaning Services, but
Somebody's vacuuming?
Cleaning. That's what it sounds like to me, but anyway, so it's 8:15,
Yeah.
8:17 in the city.
I just wanted a quick, sorry.
No.
This is my last thing. The grants came out for Lake Coast, so I'm filling out the one for OPG. This year, we are eligible for $1,600, because we had 207 inspections last year. And just like, we have to do just a loose budget for them. I mean, they know that it's gonna change or whatever, but, if we did just weekends again and holidays, that would be 22 days from June 28th to September 1st. Throwing out there $16 an hour, that comes to $28.16. So, last year, I think we chipped in 1,500 from the commission. So if we did that again, that would give us 3,100, so that would cover that, along with the grant from New Hampshire Lakes.
And you want the vote tonight?
No.
Okay.
No,
No? Why not?
okay.
We could make a motion, I make a motion, at least it's gonna make a motion, I think.
No, I'll second your motion.
Okay.
Second your
That-
promotion.
Oh, my God.
Oh, we're on camera.
That we take $1,500 from the Conservation Commission's budget and
Think-
allocate it.
I think
Two.
it's kind of written in there, right, Gray, in our budget? Don't we have that? Isn't that one of our line items?
is for
think
Lake
it-
Coast.
I
Yeah.
think it was technically Weed Watchers or something, but it's
Okay.
Lake Coast.
We had discussed it before we were talking about your budget. Yeah, I think at last meeting also.
So I second that
Okay,
motion.
there we go. All right, any discussion? Okay,
You can pass it unanimously.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good.
I abstain.
Well, you can't abstain.
I can't?
Yeah, because then we don't have a quorum.
Yeah, you had to vote.
Okay, I agree. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Good, okay.
That's all I have.
Okay, anything else?
Lisa, did you have anything? Say about your meeting tomorrow.
Well,
This
I mean,
is-
I handed out
I
the,
hope this
Right.
is,
for so the Belknap County Natural Resources Assessment, starting at 6 PM at the Guilford Community Church. And this is where you have an opportunity to help guide conservation efforts in the county, as well as comment on some of the federal programs that assist landowners in forestry and agriculture primarily. So it's a meeting to help plan guidance.
It was good last year.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for doing that.
Yeah, thanks.
No, thank
It's
you.
important.
And Dean, you had mentioned, well, somebody had brought up the Lakes Alliance. So Pat will be retiring sometime this summer. Didn't see that?
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, she formally stated she'd be retiring sometime this summer, and that they've moved to their new location, so that was
they're in
identified
Meredith
too.
now, yeah.
Yeah, so check your emails. They're down.
It was in the paper, too.
Yeah, oh, that's right, too.
Yeah.
They're down, it's down by the Dunkin' Donuts in Meredith on 25. It's in that
Oh,
vicinity.
yeah, okay.
I forgot
It
what
looks
the address
nice,
is.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and apparently there's also a bill, I didn't catch it, but there's a bill for New Hampshire Lakes to have their own grant program.
I didn't see that.
I missed it, this was in, so I'm getting the second hand, but I'll have to go in. I do have a couple of legislative trackers I haven't opened for a while. Because the question was asked today at that meeting, it says, well, how will this impact the Moose Plate program if New Hampshire Lakes goes through with their own grant program?
Okay, so, and I'm wondering if this is what that is. New Hampshire Lakes had put in a proposal to have a loon plate.
Yes, it was connected to the
Okay,
license plate, that's
So-
what it is.
So if that goes through and people have their choice between a regular plate, a moose plate, or a loon plate, the loon plate, that money, or part of that money would go, I don't know if it's New Hampshire Lakes though, or if it's towards
Lakes
invasive
in general.
species program in the state.
Okay.
I think that must,
Okay, I think you're right, I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
That it was just wondering, would that take funds away, how many funds would that take away from the conservation license plate program? But where they have water as part of that, one of the categories you can apply under Moose Plate, I'm thinking that it allows for maybe different kinds of projects, though, I don't know.
really, when you buy a moose plate, you get to pick where the money goes?
No,
Oh, they
when
do.
you apply to Moose Plate, there are 5 or 7 categories. When you write your Moose Plate grant, it's
Yeah.
asking you
Oh,
what
I see.
category, that's what I meant. And water is one of those categories, like you can say.
Oh, I
where-
see.
So it's not saying that, just because Moose Plate didn't get as much money because there's this other license plate program
Right.
that's also taking some funds, it doesn't mean that Moose Plate can't still do some water
Right.
stuff.
Hmm.
I mean, and it's not, it was no, it was not a turfy conversation, it was just kind of like, we're just wondering what, so.
What you think, yeah. I had thought about that when they said they were coming out with a loon plate, and I'm like, oh, where are my loyalties? Would I keep my moose?
Oh. Yeah, I mean, the one thing, I will always say this though, because I think it's important, because things get lost in the mists of time. The only reason, well, I'm not gonna say the only reason, the main reason that I know that we have a New Hampshire conservation license plate at all is because of the New Hampshire Conservation Districts. Jody Pellerin out of Rockingham County tried for 10 years, and every time she would go up before the legislature or whatever, all the other ones did was say, well, where's our money? Where's our money coming from? If you're gonna get a plate, well, we gotta have, she worked for 10 years, and they kept denying it and denying it and denying it, and the only reason it got through was because it was like, we're gonna carve it up. And that was, and we were like, well, fine, and I'm just, it happened over 20 years ago, so I'm not
Wow.
saying,
Yeah.
those people are long gone, but I always have to tout the fact that we got a license plate 20 years ago because Jody Pellerin from Rockingham County Conservation District fought the fight and got it. And then everybody was like,
Yeah.
so.
Well, that's the world,
No,
unfortunately.
and that's fine, it's fine, because we've benefited from it, but hail to Jody.
Nice. That is
So
good
the-
history.
The moral of that story is don't give up.
No, absolutely, I mean, it was like, it's, and you're right, that's all I'm gonna say. It happened so long ago, it's kinda like, the Kennedy files, the whatever.
Yeah, really.
Does it really matter if anybody knows anymore? So,
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
second.